Mina Washington stared at her phone screen, her light brown fingers hovering over the send button. The cramps had started an hour ago, that familiar, persistent ache that signaled her body's monthly clockwork. She downloaded 3 different ovulation tracking apps after her doctor suggested she start monitoring her cycle more carefully, and all 3 were screaming the same message: peak fertility, 24 hours remaining. Her boyfriend David was supposed to be home 2 days ago from his business trip to Atlanta. 2 days that had stretched into radio silence, ignored calls, and increasingly frantic texts. The last message she'd sent had been pathetic. "Baby, please just tell me you're okay." Nothing. She typed quickly, her frustration bleeding into the words. "I'm ovulating, please come home." The moment she hit send, her best friend Jada's voice echoed in her head from their conversation last week. "Girl, if you have to beg a man to show up for you, he's already gone." Mina squeezed her eyes shut. 25 years old with a degree in graphic design, her own apartment in Brooklyn, a growing freelance portfolio, and here she was, begging a man who couldn't even bother to reply. Her phone buzzed. Finally. But the message that appeared made her stomach drop. Number saved. Address. Mina blinked. David always called her baby girl or beautiful. He already knew her address. They'd been dating for 8 months. Her fingers flew across the screen. "David, is this you?" The reply came instantly. "You texted me. I don't repeat myself. Address." A cold sensation crept up her spine. She checked the number. Her heart stopped. 1 digit off. 1 single digit off from David's number. "Oh my God," she whispered to her empty living room. "Oh my God, oh my God." She typed frantically. "I'm so sorry, wrong number. Please disregard that message." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Too late, I'm already interested. Address or I find it myself." Mina's hands started shaking. This had to be a joke, some creep trying to scare her. She should block the number immediately. Instead, something reckless stirred in her chest. Maybe it was the hormone surge. Maybe it was 8 months of tolerating David's flakiness. Maybe it was the 3 glasses of wine she'd had with dinner. "You're not serious," she typed. Han Junho doesn't make jokes. The name hit her like ice water. Han Junho. She'd heard that name before, whispered in the Korean grocery store she frequented in Koreatown, mentioned in hushed tones at the Korean barbecue spot where she'd celebrated her birthday last month. The owner had gone pale when someone said it too loudly, had actually shushed them. Her roommate's boyfriend was Korean, and he'd warned them once during a night of drinking. "There are 3 things you don't do in this city. You don't disrespect the triads, you don't mess with the bratva, and you definitely don't cross Han Junho." Mina's throat went dry. She typed with trembling fingers, "This is a misunderstanding. I was texting my boyfriend." Came the reply, past tense already, smart woman. I am texting my boyfriend. You're not him." "Clearly, your boyfriend doesn't answer. I do." Mina stood up, packing her small living room. The exposed brick walls she'd loved when she signed the lease now felt like they were closing in. She should call the police. She should definitely call the police. Her phone buzzed again. "You offered yourself to me. A proposition like that requires a response in person." "I didn't offer anything to you. It was a mistake." "Mistakes have consequences. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Wear something that doesn't waste my time." Mina's breath caught. She typed rapidly, "I'm not telling you where I live." But another message came through immediately, and her blood turned to ice. 462 Warren Street, apartment 3C. You should really adjust your social media privacy settings, Mina Washington. She nearly dropped the phone. He knew her name, her address. How long had he been looking? How much did he already know? The rational part of her brain screamed to call 911. The other part, the part that had been slowly dying under David's neglect, under the weight of always being too much or not enough, felt something else entirely. Alive. Terrified, yes, but alive. She looked at herself in the mirror near the door. Her black curls were pulled into a messy bun, her light brown skin bare of makeup, wearing an oversized Howard University sweatshirt and sleep shorts. Not exactly the outfit for confronting a mafia boss. If he was really coming, and God help her, she believed he was, she had two choices. She could leave, run to Jada's place in Queens, hide like a sensible person. Or she could stay. Her phone rang, shattering the silence. Unknown number. She knew who it was before she answered. "Hello." Her voice came out steadier than she felt. "Mina." His voice was deep, accented, with that particular precision some Korean speakers had with English. "You're still there. Good. How did you?" "I can see your lights on. Third floor, corner unit. You should close your curtains." She ran to the window, pulling the curtains shut with shaking hands. "You're outside, already." "I was close when you texted. Fortunate timing." There was something like amusement in his tone, or perhaps fate. "This is insane. You can't just show up at someone's house because of a wrong number." "I can do anything I want, Mina. That's what power means." He paused. "But I'm giving you a choice. Invite me up or I leave. No harm. Your address gets deleted from my phone and you go back to waiting for David, who's currently at the Marriott in Atlanta with his coworker Jessica." Mina's heart stopped. "What?" "Room 717. They checked in together 3 days ago. I had someone confirm it while we've been talking." Seemed relevant. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Jessica, David's work wife that he always laughed about. Jessica with the blonde hair and the yoga body and the way she touched David's arm during the company picnic. "You're lying." "I don't lie, I don't need to." His voice softened slightly. "I'm sorry, that's not the news anyone wants to receive, but you deserve the truth." Tears burned her eyes. She refused to let them fall. "Why are you doing this?" "Because a woman who texts what you texted, that kind of vulnerability, that honesty, doesn't deserve to waste it on a man who doesn't appreciate it." Silence stretched between them. "Invite me up, Mina. Let me prove not all men are like David." "You're a criminal." "Yes." "You probably hurt people." "Frequently." "I should call the cops." "You should, but you won't." She could hear the smile in his voice. "Because you're curious, because you're angry, because for 8 months you've made yourself smaller, quieter, more convenient. And tonight, for just one moment, you want to be dangerous." He was right. God help her, he was completely right. Mina walked to her intercom, her finger hovering over the button. This was insane. Reckless, potentially fatal. She pressed it. "Third floor," she whispered. "I know," Han Junho said, and the line went dead. Mina had 90 seconds before he reached her door. 90 seconds to change her clothes, fix her hair, prepare herself to meet a man who just upended her entire world. 90 seconds to decide who she wanted to be when she opened that door. She ran to her bedroom, pulling off the sweatshirt, her mind racing through outfits and outcomes and the very real possibility that she was making the worst decision of her life. Or maybe, just maybe, the best. The knock came exactly when she expected it. 3 sharp raps, confident and unhurried. Mina took a breath, smoothed down the black dress she'd thrown on, and walked to the door. When she opened it, Han Junho was nothing like she'd imagined, and exactly what she'd feared. He was tall, taller than David by several inches, with sharp features that could have been carved from stone. His black hair was styled back, his suit probably cost more than her monthly rent, and his eyes were the darkest she'd ever seen. Dangerous eyes. Eyes that had seen things, done things. But when he looked at her, really looked at her, something shifted in his expression. "Mina Washington," he said softly, "you're more beautiful than your pictures suggested." And despite everything, the fear, the insanity, the complete upheaval of her normal Tuesday night, Mina felt her heart skip. "Are you going to invite me in, or do we conduct this conversation where your neighbors can hear?" Junho's voice was smooth, controlled, but his eyes never left hers. Mina stepped aside, her body moving before her brain could catch up. He walked past her, and she caught his scent, something expensive and clean with an undertone of cigarette smoke. He moved through her small apartment with the ease of someone accustomed to taking up space, to owning every room he entered. She closed the door, suddenly aware of how intimate this was. A strange man. Her apartment. The door closed. Every true crime podcast she'd ever listened to screamed warnings in her head. Junho stopped in the center of her living room, hands in his pockets, surveying her space with an expression she couldn't read. His gaze lingered on her bookshelves, the art prints she'd designed and framed, the photographs of her family in Atlanta. "You're talented," he said, nodding toward her portfolio pieces on the wall. "The color work is exceptional, bold choices." "Thank you." Her voice came out smaller than she intended. She cleared her throat, forced strength into it. "You broke into my social media, found my address, and showed up at my door. Let's skip the small talk about my graphic design skills." A smile tugged at his lips. "Fair enough." He turned to face her fully. "You want to know why I'm really here?" "I know why you think you're here. I sent a text meant for someone else, and you decided to be a creep about it." "A creep," he seemed to taste the word. "Interesting choice." "What would you call it?" "Opportunistic." He moved toward her couch, sitting without invitation, completely at ease. "Your boyfriend is cheating on you. You were going to give him something precious, your trust, your body, your hope for a future. He doesn't deserve any of it." Mina's hands clenched at her sides. "You don't know anything about my relationship." "I know he hasn't answered your calls in 48 hours. I know you've texted him 17 times. I know that you deserve better than waiting by the phone for a man who's sharing a bed with someone else." Junho leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "And I know that when you sent that text to me instead of him, something in the universe shifted." "That's not how the universe works." "Isn't it?" His dark eyes held hers. "In my line of work, I've learned to pay attention to accidents. They're rarely as random as they seem." Mina moved to the chair across from him, needing the distance, needing furniture between them. "Your line of work? You mean organized crime?" "I prefer to think of it as alternative business solutions." "People say you're dangerous." "People are correct." The bluntness of it shocked her. No denial, no deflection, just simple truth. "Why aren't you afraid of me?" Junho asked suddenly. Mina considered lying, then decided against it. "I am afraid, I'm terrified, but I'm also—" She struggled for the words. "I'm tired of being afraid of the wrong things. I've spent 8 months afraid David would leave if I asked for too much, if I needed too much, if I was too much. And he left anyway, or at least he's halfway out the door." She met Junho's gaze. "You're a different kind of fear, at least you're honest about it." Something flickered across his face, surprise, maybe, or recognition. "You're not what I expected." "What did you expect?" "Someone who would slam the door, call the police, cry." He tilted his head, studying her. "Not someone who would let me in and challenge me." "Maybe I'm stupider than you thought." "No, you're braver." He stood, and Mina's breath caught, but he only walked to her window, looking out through a gap in the curtains. "I'm going to be honest with you, Mina. That text you sent, it did something to me, made me curious. Made me want to know who would be so honest, so vulnerable with someone they thought they trusted. And now that you know." He turned back to her. "Now I want to give you a choice. A real one, not like the illusion of choice David's been giving you." "What choice?" "Come with me tonight. Let me show you what it feels like to be with someone who actually sees you, who wants you enough to show up." His voice dropped lower. "Or tell me to leave, and I will. You'll never hear from me again." Mina's heart hammered against her ribs. "Come with you where?" "Somewhere beautiful, somewhere that will make you forget David exists." He moved closer, but stopped a respectful distance away. "I won't touch you unless you ask me to. I won't push you into anything, but I will show you an evening that reminds you what you're worth." "This is insane." "Yes." "I don't know you." "No, but you know David, and look where that got you." She wanted to argue, but he had a point. 8 months of knowing someone, and she hadn't seen the betrayal coming. At least with Junho, the danger was up front, honest, visible. "If I say yes, and I'm not saying I am, what exactly are you proposing?" "Dinner, conversation. I want to know who Mina Washington is when she's not shrinking herself for someone else's comfort." His eyes were intense, focused entirely on her. "And then I'll bring you home, safe, untouched if that's what you want." "Why would you do that? Why would you care?" Junho was quiet for a long moment. "Because 6 years ago, someone showed me kindness when they didn't have to, changed the entire trajectory of my life. I've been waiting to pay that forward." He smiled slightly. "And because that text was the most honest thing anyone said to me in months, even if it wasn't meant for me." Mina's phone buzzed on the coffee table between them. Both of them looked at it. David's name lit up the screen. She didn't move to answer it. Junho watched her, waiting. The phone buzzed again, then stopped. A voicemail notification appeared. "You could answer it," Junho said quietly. "Hear his excuses, maybe they'll be good ones." Mina looked at her phone, then at Junho. At this dangerous, impossible man who'd upended her evening and somehow made her feel more alive than she had in months. She stood, walked to her bedroom door. "Give me 10 minutes to fix my makeup." When she emerged, she touched up her face, added gold hoops to her ears, and switched to heels that made her legs look incredible. Junho's expression when he saw her was worth every second of doubt. "Beautiful," he said simply. They left her apartment together, and Mina felt like she was stepping out of her own life and into someone else's. In the hallway, Mrs. Chen from 3B was coming home with groceries. Her eyes widened seeing Mina with Junho, and Mina could already imagine the gossip. Let them talk, she thought. The car waiting outside was sleek and black, expensive enough that Mina didn't recognize the brand. A driver stood at attention, opening the back door without a word. "You have a driver," Mina said. "I have several," Junho gestured for her to enter first. "After you." The interior was leather and luxury, a world away from David's Honda Civic with the check engine light that had been on for 3 months. Junho slid in beside her, and the driver closed the door, sealing them into intimate quiet. "Where are we going?" Mina asked as the car pulled away from her building. "You'll see." They drove through Brooklyn, then over the bridge into Manhattan. The city lights reflected off the river, and Mina watched them, trying to process what she was doing. 24 hours ago, her biggest concern was a freelance deadline. Now she was in a car with a man who probably had a body count, heading to an unknown destination. "Tell me about your work," Junho said, breaking the silence. "My work?" "Your design portfolio. You mentioned freelance. What kind of projects do you do?" It was so normal, so unexpected, that Mina found herself answering. She told him about her clients, about the branding project she just finished for a boutique in Bed-Stuy, about her dream of eventually opening her own studio. Junho listened, really listened, asking questions that showed he was actually paying attention. When had David last asked about her work? She couldn't remember. The car stopped in front of a building in Tribeca. No sign, just an unmarked door with a well-dressed man standing guard. "Mr. Han," the man said, opening the door immediately. His eyes flicked to Mina with barely concealed surprise. They entered a private elevator, and Junho pressed the button for the top floor. As they ascended, he turned to her. "Last chance to change your mind. We can turn around right now." Mina looked at him, really looked at him. There was something in his expression, something almost vulnerable beneath the dangerous exterior. "I want to stay," she heard herself say. The elevator doors opened onto a restaurant that took Mina's breath away. It was small, intimate, maybe 10 tables total. Crystal and candlelight, and a view of the city that seemed impossible. Every table was full except one by the window, clearly reserved. A woman in elegant black approached immediately. "Mr. Han, your table is ready." They were seated, and Mina realized that every other diner had carefully not looked at them. They knew who Junho was. They knew better than to stare. "This is beautiful," Mina admitted. "You haven't seen anything yet." Junho nodded to the sommelier, who appeared with a bottle of wine that probably cost more than Mina's rent. As the evening unfolded, Mina found herself relaxing despite the surreal nature of it all. The food was incredible, each course a small work of art. But more than that, The conversation was incredible. Junho asked her questions no one had asked before, listened to her answers like they mattered, challenged her opinions without dismissing them. "Why graphic design?" he asked over the third course. "I wanted to create beauty that served a purpose, art that helped people, helped businesses tell their stories." She sipped her wine. "What about you? Why? What you do?" "Legacy, survival, power." He said it without shame. "My father built an empire. I inherited it and made it stronger. It's all I've ever known." "Do you like it?" The question seemed to surprise him. "No one's ever asked me that." "Well, I'm asking." Junho looked out at the city lights, contemplative. "Sometimes it's brutal, but it's honest. No pretense. No one smiles at you while planning to betray you. If someone wants you dead, you know it." "That sounds exhausting." "It is." He turned back to her. "But tonight isn't. Tonight is the first time in months I've felt like a person instead of a position." Something in Mina's chest tightened. She saw it then, the loneliness in him that matched her own. Her phone buzzed. David again. She declined the call. Junho noticed. "You should talk to him eventually, get closure." "I know, just not tonight." She met his eyes. "Tonight I want to pretend I'm someone else. Someone brave enough to have dinner with a handsome stranger who saw something in a stupid text message." It wasn't stupid. It was real. Real is rare. They talked until the restaurant began to empty, until the staff was clearly waiting for them to leave. Junho settled the bill with a card that had weight to it, then offered Mina his hand. "Walk with me." They stepped out into the night, and instead of heading to the car, Junho led her down the street. The city was quieter here, the late hour thinning the crowds. "Thank you," Mina said suddenly, "for tonight, for seeing me." "Mina," he stopped walking, turned to face her. "I need to tell you something." The seriousness in his tone made her stomach drop. "What?" "When I got your text, I was on my way to handle a situation, a bad one. Someone had betrayed my organization, stolen from us. I was going to make an example of them." He held her gaze. "Your text stopped me, made me redirect my driver, and in those 20 minutes it took to get to you, my second-in-command handled it differently, without violence. They got our money back and no one died." Mina's breath caught. "You're saying I saved someone's life by accident." "I'm saying maybe it wasn't an accident." His hand came up, hesitated, then gently touched her cheek. "Maybe you saved mine too, reminded me I'm more than what I do." She should step back, should remember who he was, what he was capable of. Instead, she leaned into his touch. "Junho." Her phone rang, shattering the moment. "David, again." "Answer it," Junho said quietly, dropping his hand. "You need to." With trembling fingers, Mina accepted the call. "Hello." "Baby, finally, I've been trying to reach you all night." David's voice was bright, cheerful, oblivious. "Listen, I'm so sorry I've been MIA. Work has been absolutely crazy, you know how it is. But I'm coming home tomorrow, and I thought we could." "Where are you right now, David?" Mina's voice was ice. A pause. "What? I'm at the hotel, baby. Where else would I be?" "Which hotel?" The Marriott. You know that, I told you." "Room number." "Why are you—" "This is weird, Mina. Why are you interrogating me?" "What's your room number, David?" Another pause, longer this time. 717, but I don't understand why. "Is Jessica with you?" Silence. In that silence, Mina heard everything she needed to know. "Baby, listen." "Don't." Her voice broke despite her best efforts. "Don't call me baby. Don't lie to me anymore." "Mina, you're being crazy right now. Jessica and I were just working late, and the company booked us rooms on the same floor, that's all." "You're in the same room, David. Don't insult me by lying about it." "How do you—" He stopped. "Are you having me followed? What the hell, Mina?" "What the hell?" She laughed, the sound harsh even to her own ears. "You're cheating on me and you're mad that I found out." "I'm not. We're not. It just happened, okay? It didn't mean anything." "Then, why have you been ignoring my calls for 3 days?" "Because I felt guilty. Because I knew you'd know something was wrong." His voice rose, defensive. "And clearly I was right, because you're acting psychotic right now." Junho's hand touched her shoulder, steadying. She hadn't realized she was shaking. I sent you a text tonight, Mina said quietly. Told you I was ovulating, asked you to come home. Do you know what you should have done? Mina. You should have gotten on the first flight back. You should have chosen me, but you didn't even read it, did you? I've been busy. You've been with her. Tears threatened, but she refused to let them fall. We're done, David. Don't call me again. You can't just. She hung up, blocked the number, stood there on a Tribeca Street corner at midnight, her whole relationship disintegrating in real time. I'm sorry, Junho said softly. Don't be, you tried to warn me. She wiped her eyes, careful of her makeup. God, I'm such an idiot. You're not, he is. Junho's voice had an edge to it now. Say the word and I'll make sure he regrets what he did to you. Mina looked up at him sharply. What does that mean? Nothing permanent, just uncomfortable. Maybe he loses his job. Maybe he finds out what it feels like to have his life disrupted. His expression was dark. Maybe Jessica does too. No, Mina shook her head. I don't want that. I just want to forget he exists. Then that's what we'll do. Junho's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and something changed in his face. I need to take this business 1 minute. He stepped away, voice dropping to rapid Korean. Mina couldn't understand the words, but she understood the tone, urgent, serious, angry. When he returned, his expression was carefully neutral. I need to handle something, it can't wait. Of course, I understand. Mina felt the evening crashing back to reality. Thank you for tonight, really, it was. Come with me. She blinked. What? Come with me, see what I do, who I really am. His eyes were intense. You said you wanted to be brave tonight, be brave now. Junho, I don't think. I'm not going to hurt anyone. I'm just collecting a debt. But I want you to see all of me, not just the man who buys you dinner. He moved closer. And I think you want to see it too. That part of you that let me into your apartment tonight, she wants to know what the danger really looks like. He was right. God help her, he was right. Every responsible instinct screamed at her to go home, to end this insane night. But something else, something that had been buried under years of being good, being safe, being what everyone expected, wanted to follow him into the dark. Okay, she whispered. The drive took them to Red Hook, to the waterfront where shipping containers stacked like building blocks. The car stopped in front of a warehouse that looked abandoned, but Mina could see light leaking through cracks in the doors. 2 men stood guard outside. They straightened when they saw Junho, their eyes flicking to Mina with barely concealed confusion. Stay close to me, Junho said as they exited the car. Don't speak unless I tell you to. Inside, the warehouse was cavernous and cold. A group of men stood in the center, Junho's people, she assumed, from the way they deferred to him. And in the middle, tied to a chair, was a young man who couldn't have been more than 25. Mina's stomach turned. Mr. Han, one of Junho's men said, bowing slightly. We've been questioning him, but he won't talk. Junho approached the bound man, hands in his pockets, posture relaxed. Jinsu, you know why you're here. The young man, Jinsu, spat blood onto the concrete. I don't know anything. You took $50,000 from my organization, money that belonged to families who depend on me for protection. Junho's voice was calm, almost gentle. I'm going to give you one chance to tell me where it is. I didn't take anything. Junho sighed. He glanced back at Mina and she saw the question in his eyes. Do you want to leave? She shook her head. She needed to see this. Needed to know who she'd spent the evening with. Jinsu, Junho crouched in front of the chair, eye level with the bound man. I'm trying to be reasonable, but my patience has limits. I don't have your money. Junho stood, nodded to one of his men. The man stepped forward with something in his hand, pliers. Mina's heart hammered. This was real. This was actually happening. But then Junho held up a hand, stopping his associate. He pulled out his phone, scrolled through something, then turned the screen to Jinsu. This is your mother's apartment in Flushing. Your sister attends Queens College. Your girlfriend works at the H Mart on Northern Boulevard. Junho's voice was still calm. I know everything about you, Jinsu, but here's what you don't know about me. I don't hurt families. I don't involve innocent people. Jinsu's eyes widened. But I will make your life impossible. Every job you apply to, rejected. Every apartment you try to rent, denied. Every friend you have, they'll hear what you did. Junho pocketed his phone. Or you can tell me where my money is, and you can walk out of here with nothing worse than a lesson learned. Silence stretched. Mina could hear her own heartbeat. The money's in a storage unit, Jinsu finally said, his voice breaking. In Astoria, I can give you the key. Smart choice, Junho gestured, and one of his men cut the ropes. Jinsu stumbled to his feet, pulled a key from his pocket with shaking hands. Take him to verify, Junho ordered. If he's telling the truth, let him go. If not, we'll have another conversation. His men led Jinsu away, and suddenly the warehouse was quieter. Junho turned to Mina. You're disappointed, he said. I'm confused. You threatened him with psychological warfare instead of physical violence. I told you I wouldn't hurt anyone tonight. But you would have, if I wasn't here. Junho considered this. Maybe not. I've been trying to change how I operate. Violence is easy, but it's also finite. Fear, reputation, information, those last longer. He moved closer to her. You see who I am now, what I'm capable of. Does it change how you feel? Mina thought about it, really thought about it. You're a criminal, you do terrible things, but you also keep your word. She met his eyes. And you made a scared kid choose to do the right thing instead of breaking him. That's something. That's something, he repeated softly. Most people would run screaming. I'm not most people. No, you're really not. His phone rang again. He answered in Korean, his expression darkening with each passing second. When he hung up, there was something new in his face, worry. What's wrong? Mina asked. Nothing you need to concern yourself with. Junho. He looked at her, seemed to make a decision. Someone's been asking questions about me tonight, about who I was with, where I went, about you. Cold fear trickled down Mina's spine. Someone from your world. Yes, and they're not friendly. He moved toward the door. I need to get you home now. They rushed to the car, and Mina could feel the change in Junho. The relaxed, almost playful man from dinner was gone. This was the gangster, the boss, the man who'd built an empire on fear and control. The drive back to Brooklyn was tense and silent. Junho made several calls in rapid Korean, his voice tight with barely controlled anger. When they pulled up to Mina's building, he turned to her. I need you to do something for me. What? Don't answer your door for anyone you don't know. Don't go anywhere alone for the next few days. And if anyone asks about me, about tonight, I won't tell them anything. Mina, I'm serious. The people asking about me, they're dangerous. They might try to use you to get to me. Then maybe you shouldn't have taken me out tonight. It came out harsher than she intended. Maybe I shouldn't have. His hand cupped her face, thumb tracing her cheekbone. But I don't regret it, even if it complicates everything. What happens now? Now I handle this situation, and you go back to your life. His eyes searched hers. Forget about me, Mina Washington. Forget this night happened. Just like that. Just like that. But neither of them moved. The space between them felt electric, charged with everything unspoken. Mina made the decision before she could talk herself out of it. She kissed him. It wasn't gentle. It was 8 months of frustration, hours of tension, a lifetime of playing it safe suddenly combusting into this one moment. Junho responded immediately, his hand sliding into her hair, pulling her closer as he deepened the kiss. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Junho's forehead rested against hers. That was a mistake, he whispered. I know. I can't give you normal. I can't give you safe. I know that too. He pulled back, his dark eyes searching her face. Then what do you want from me, Mina? I don't know yet, but I know I'm tired of pretending I don't feel this. She touched his face, feeling the sharp line of his jaw. Whatever this is. Junho's phone buzzed insistently. He ignored it. Come upstairs with me. Junho. Not for that, not tonight. His voice was rough. I just don't want to leave you, not yet. Against every ounce of common sense, Mina nodded. They made it to her apartment, and the moment the door closed, Junho had her pressed against it, kissing her like she was oxygen and he'd been drowning. Mina melted into it, into him, her hands fisting in his expensive shirt. His phone rang again, and again. Answer it, Mina gasped against his mouth. Junho cursed in Korean, finally pulling away to check his phone. His expression went from frustrated to deadly serious in seconds. I have to go. What's wrong? They found out about you, my enemies. They know I was with someone tonight. He was already moving toward the door. I need to handle this before. The sound of breaking glass came from Mina's bedroom. Junho reacted instantly, pushing Mina behind him, his hand going to his waist where she now saw he had a gun. Stay behind me. A man emerged from her bedroom, tall, tattooed, with dead eyes that made Mina's blood run cold. He had a gun, too, pointed directly at them. Han Junho, the man said in accented English. You're getting sloppy, bringing civilians into your business. This has nothing to do with her, Dmitri. Dmitri, Russian, the bratva that Junho had mentioned people not messing with. Everything to do with you has to do with us now. You killed Victor's nephew. Dmitri's eyes flicked to Mina. Pretty girl, shame. She's not part of this. Junho's voice was steel. Let her go and you and I can settle this. Oh, we'll settle it, but she's coming with us. Insurance, you understand. Everything happened at once. Junho moved, fast as lightning, his gun coming up. But Dmitri was faster, and suddenly there was another man in her living room. Where had he come from? Grabbing Mina from behind, arm around her throat. Don't, Junho froze, gun still raised. Smart boy, Dmitri smiled, showing gold teeth. Now drop the gun or Yuri breaks her neck. The arm around Mina's throat tightened, cutting off air. She clawed at it uselessly, panic rising. Junho's eyes met hers. She saw the calculation there, the cold assessment. He was going to do it. He was going to drop the gun. Don't, Mina choked out. Don't give up your... The arm tightened further. Black spots danced in her vision. Junho dropped the gun. Good, Dmitri said. Now here's what's going to happen. The girl comes with us. You get a call in a few hours with instructions for getting her back. Maybe you follow them, maybe she lives. Maybe you don't, and we send her back to you in pieces. Your choice. Take me instead, Junho said. I'm the one Victor wants. Victor wants you to suffer first. Losing things you care about, that's how suffering begins. Dmitri moved toward Mina. And you do care about this one, don't you? After just one night, how fascinating. Junho's jaw clenched. If you hurt her. You'll what? You're unarmed, outnumbered. You've already lost Han. The man holding Mina, Yuri, started dragging her backward toward her bedroom window. She fought, but he was too strong, and she couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Junho lunged forward, but Dmitri's gun swung toward him. Ah, stay put, or I shoot you and take her anyway. Junho, Mina gasped. His eyes locked with hers. I will find you, I promise. How touching, Dmitri said. Yuri, take her. Mina felt herself being pulled through her bedroom toward the fire escape outside her window. This couldn't be happening. This couldn't be real. Just hours ago, her biggest problem was a cheating boyfriend. Junho shouted something in Korean. There was a crash from the living room, sounds of a struggle. Then a gunshot. Mina screamed, but Yuri clamped a hand over her mouth, hauling her out onto the fire escape. The night air hit her face, cold and shocking. She could see a black van idling in the alley below. Another gunshot from inside her apartment. Junho, she tried to scream, but the hand over her mouth muffled it. Yuri dragged her down the fire escape, metal clanging under their feet. Mina kicked, thrashed, fought with everything she had. Her heel connected with his shin, and he grunted but didn't let go. They reached the alley. The van's side door slid open, revealing darkness inside. No, no, no. Mina bit down hard on the hand covering her mouth. Yuri cursed, yanking his hand back. In that split second, Mina screamed as loud as she could. "Help! Somebody help me!" A window opened above. Mrs. Chen's voice. "What's going on down there? I'm calling the police." "Get her in the van." Dimitri's voice came from the fire escape above them. "Now." Hands grabbed Mina, pulling her toward the darkness. She grabbed the van's door frame, holding on with desperate strength. Then there was shouting in Korean. Junho appeared at the top of the fire escape, bloodied but alive, gun in hand again. He fired twice. Yuri dropped, clutching his leg. Mina scrambled away from the van as Dimitri returned fire from above. Bullets sparked off metal, deafening in the enclosed alley. "Mina, run." Junho was coming down the fire escape, firing to cover her. She ran, her heels slipping on wet pavement, her heart trying to explode out of her chest. Behind her, more gunshots. Sirens wailing in the distance. Mrs. Chen had actually called the police. Mina made it to the mouth of the alley, burst out onto the street. A car screeched to a halt in front of her, Junho's car, his driver at the wheel. "Get in," the driver shouted. She dove into the backseat just as Junho came sprinting from the alley, blood streaming from a cut on his temple. He threw himself into the car. "Drive." The car peeled out as more gunshots followed them. Mina ducked low, breathing in ragged gasps, her whole body shaking. They drove for several blocks before Junho finally said, "It's okay, we lost them." Mina sat up slowly, looking at him. His shirt was torn, blood on his face and hands. She couldn't tell if it was his or someone else's. His eyes were wild, dangerous. "Are you hurt?" he asked, his hands already on her, checking her over. "Did they hurt you?" No, I'm okay," but she wasn't. She was trembling so hard her teeth chattered. "You were shot at, in my apartment, because of me." "Not because of you, because of me, because of choices I made long before I met you." His thumb wiped away tears she hadn't realized were falling. "I'm sorry. God, Mina, I'm so sorry." "My apartment is a crime scene now. You can't go back there. Not tonight, maybe not for a while." "Where am I supposed to go?" Junho looked at his driver, then back at her. "With me. It's the only place they won't dare follow." "They tried to kidnap me. They shot at us. Her breath hitched. "This is insane. This whole night is insane." I know, and if I could take it back." He stopped, corrected himself. "No, I wouldn't take back meeting you, but I would take back bringing this danger into your life." The car turned into an underground garage, security gates closing behind them. They were in Manhattan somewhere, but Mina had lost track of where. Junho helped her out of the car, keeping her close as they entered an elevator. It required a keycard and went up, up, up. When the doors opened, they opened directly into a penthouse that made Mina's entire apartment look like a closet. The view stretched across the city, lights twinkling like stars. Everything was sleek, modern, expensive. "Welcome to my home," Junho said quietly. But Mina barely registered the luxury around her. All she could think about was the gunshots, the hands grabbing her, the moment she'd thought she might actually die. And the fact that somewhere in the chaos, she'd realized something terrifying. She didn't want to run from Junho, she wanted to run toward him. He led her deeper into the penthouse, to a sitting area with plush furniture. "Let me clean you up, you have cuts from the glass." She looked down and saw he was right. Small cuts on her arms from when the window shattered. She hadn't even felt them. Junho disappeared, returning with a first aid kit. His hands were gentle as he cleaned her wounds, applied antiseptic, bandaged what needed bandaging. The intimacy of it, after everything, made her want to cry. "I have people watching your building," he said softly. "Collecting your things, you'll have clothes, your laptop, everything you need." "Just like that, you can just make that happen." "Yes. Because you're Han Junho." "Because I'm Han Junho." He finished with her arms, his hands lingering on hers. "And because I protect what's mine." "I'm not yours." "Aren't you?" His eyes met hers, dark and intense. "After tonight, after everything, tell me you don't feel it too." Mina should deny it, should demand to be taken to Jada's, to her parents, anywhere but here, should run as far and fast from this dangerous, impossible man as she could. Instead, she pulled him close and kissed him. This time when they kissed, it was different, desperate, urgent, like they were both trying to prove they were still alive. Junho lifted her, and she wrapped her legs around him as he carried her through the penthouse to his bedroom. They shed clothes between kisses, hands exploring, claiming. When he laid her on his bed, his eyes searched hers one last time. "Are you sure?" he whispered. "I've never been more sure of anything," she lied. Because the truth was she wasn't sure of anything except that she needed this, needed him, needed to feel something other than terror. What happened next was a blur of sensation, his mouth on her skin, his hands memorizing every curve, the way he whispered her name like a prayer. Mina lost herself in it, in him, forgetting everything except the connection building between them. Afterward, they lay tangled together, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on her bare shoulder. "I should feel guilty," Mina said into the darkness. "But you don't." "Number should I?" "I don't know. I stopped understanding what I should feel a long time ago." He kissed her temple. "But I know what I do feel, and it's not guilt." "What is it?" "Terrified, exhilarated, alive." He pulled her closer. "You make me feel alive, Mina Washington." She was about to respond when his phone rang. He groaned, reaching for it on the nightstand. The conversation was brief in Korean, but she felt him tense beside her. "What is it?" she asked when he hung up. Junho was quiet for a long moment. "Victor knows where we are. He sent a message. He wants to meet." "When?" "Dawn in 3 hours." He turned to face her. "He's offering a truce, says if I come alone, he'll let this go, let you go." "You can't trust that." "I know, but I don't have a choice." His hand cupped her face. "If I don't go, he'll keep coming after you, and next time I might not get there in time." "Then we go to the police. We tell them everything." "And say what? That a mafia boss is threatening us. They can't protect you from Victor. No one can accept me." He kissed her softly. "I need to do this." "Junho, please." "Sleep. We have a few hours. Let me hold you while I can." But Mina couldn't sleep. She lay in his arms, listening to his heartbeat, knowing that when dawn came, everything would change again. She must have dozed eventually because she woke to find Junho already dressed, standing by the window watching the sun rise over the city. He'd showered, changed into a fresh suit. He looked every inch the powerful man he was. "You're leaving," she said. He turned. "Yes." "And you weren't going to wake me." "I thought it would be easier this way." Mina got up, wrapped the sheet around herself. "Easier for who?" "For both of us." He crossed to her, pulled her into his arms. "If this goes wrong." "Don't." "If this goes wrong," he continued firmly, "there's an envelope on my desk. Instructions, money, contacts, everything you need to disappear if you have to." "I don't want to disappear. I want you to stay alive." "I'm going to try." He kissed her forehead. "But if I don't make it back." "Stop talking like that." "Mina," his voice was gentle but firm, "you need to hear this. In my desk, bottom drawer, there's also a phone. One number programmed in. If anything happens to me, call it. The person who answers will protect you. His name is Kang Minyu. He's the closest thing I have to family." "Junho." Promise me you'll call if things go wrong." Tears streamed down her face. "I promise." He kissed her then, long and deep, like he was memorizing the taste of her. When he pulled away, his eyes were bright. "I have to go." She wanted to beg him to stay, wanted to lock the door and refuse to let him leave. Instead, she nodded. Junho walked to the elevator, pressed the button. The doors opened. "Junho," she called out. He turned. "Come back to me." Something flashed across his face, hope maybe or longing. "I'll try." Then he was gone, and Mina was alone in a penthouse that suddenly felt like a tomb. She paced for an hour, then 2. She tried calling his phone. It went straight to voicemail. She checked the envelope on his desk, read through the instructions without really processing them, found the phone in the drawer, stared at it. Then her own phone rang, a number she didn't recognize. Hello. Mina Washington, a woman's voice, American, professional. This is Detective Sarah Martinez, NYPD. We need to talk about last night. Mina's blood ran cold. I don't know what. We have footage of you leaving your apartment with a man identified as Han Junho hours before shots were fired. We have witnesses. We have shell casings. The detective paused. And we have a body in Atlanta that connects to you, a David Chen, your boyfriend. The world tilted. David is what? Dead, him and his companion, Jessica Morales, found in their hotel room this morning, execution style. Detective Martinez's voice hardened. So I'm going to ask you again, where is Han Junho? Mina's mind raced. David was dead. They'd killed David because of her, because she'd gone out with Junho. Ms. Washington, are you still there? Yes, I'm here. Where are you right now? Mina looked around the penthouse. She could tell the truth, could end this nightmare by giving Junho up to the police. He'd be arrested. She'd be safe. But Victor would still be out there, and Junho would be in prison, vulnerable. I'm at a friend's place, she lied, in Queens. Which friend? We'll need to verify. Listen, detective, I don't know anything about David or what happened last night. I was just... Gunshots echoed through the phone from somewhere in the background on the detective's end. Then screaming. The line went dead. Mina stared at her phone in horror. What the hell was happening? She tried calling back. No answer. Her hands shaking, she grabbed the phone from Junho's drawer. Dialed the only number programmed in. It rang once. Who is this? My name is Mina. Junho told me to call if... Where is he? The man's voice was sharp, urgent. He went to meet Victor, at dawn. He said it was a truce, but... That was 3 hours ago. He should have been back by now. A pause. Stay where you are, I'm coming to get you. Wait, who are you? Minyu, Junho's brother. The line went dead. Brother? Junho had said he was the closest thing to family. Mina pulled on the clothes that had been delivered from her apartment. Jeans, a sweater, sneakers. She was lacing up her shoes when the elevator dinged. Her heart leapt, Junho. But when the doors opened, it wasn't Junho. It was Victor. He had 4 men with him, all armed. And in the center, beaten and bloody but still alive, was Junho. His hands were zip-tied behind his back, a gag in his mouth. Ms. Washington, Victor said, his English perfect, his smile cold. How nice to finally meet you. Mina backed away, but there was nowhere to go. They were in a penthouse. The only exit was behind Victor. Please, she said. He came to meet with you. He did what you asked. He did, very noble of him. Victor walked further into the penthouse, his men dragging Junho with them. But you see, I have a problem. Your boyfriend here killed my nephew, and in my culture, blood demands blood. He's not my boyfriend. No, then why did he offer me everything? His territory, his businesses, his life, in exchange for yours. Victor's eyes glittered. That sounds like love to me. Junho struggled against his captors, muffled sounds coming from behind the gag. So here's what's going to happen, Victor continued. I'm going to kill Han Junho, and you're going to watch, and then you're going to live with the knowledge that he died because of one wrong text message. He pulled out a gun. Unless... Unless what? Unless you convince me his life is worth more than my nephew's. How can I do that? Victor smiled. You can take his place. The room went silent except for Junho's muffled shouts. He was fighting against the zip ties so hard Mina could see blood on his wrists. No deal, Mina said. Victor raised an eyebrow. No. No, because you're going to kill us both anyway. She met his eyes. I'm not stupid. No, you're not. Victor actually looked impressed. Smart girl, beautiful and smart, I see why he likes you. He turned the gun toward Junho. Any last words? The elevator dinged again. Everyone turned. The doors opened to reveal a man who looked like an older, harder version of Junho. Behind him were at least a dozen armed men. "Step away from my brother," Minyu said calmly, "or everyone in this room dies, including you, Victor." Victor's men raised their weapons. Minyu's men did the same. The penthouse had become a powder keg. "You're outnumbered," Victor said. "Am I?" Minyu smiled. "Check the building. Every exit is covered. Every one of your vehicles is disabled. Every member of your organization in this city is currently being rounded up." He pulled out his phone, showed Victor the screen. "Including your wife and daughter, safe for now, but that could change." Victor's face went purple with rage. "You wouldn't dare." "I would, and I will, unless you walk away right now." Minyu's voice turned to ice. "My brother made mistakes. He got soft, got careless, but he's still a Han, and no one touches a Han without paying the price." The standoff stretched. Mina couldn't breathe. Finally, Victor lowered his gun. "This isn't over." "Yes," Minyu said quietly. "It is, because if you ever come after my brother or anyone he cares about again, I won't be civilized about it. I'll burn your entire organization to the ground, and I'll make you watch." Victor stared at him for a long moment, then gestured to his men. They released Junho, who collapsed to his knees. Victor walked to the elevator, his men following. At the threshold, he turned back. "You've made a powerful enemy today, Kang Minyu." "I've made many. You'll have to get in line." The elevator doors closed. Mina ran to Junho, pulling off the gag, trying to help with the zip ties. Minyu cut them with a knife, and Junho immediately pulled Mina into his arms. "Are you okay?" he gasped out. "Am I okay? They beat you. They were going to kill you." "But they didn't." He pulled back, cupped her face. "Because you were smart, because you didn't panic." "I called your brother." "I know, thank God." He looked at Minyu. "Thank you." Minyu's expression was unreadable. "We need to talk about everything about her." "Later." "Now," Minyu's voice was firm. "Victor was right about one thing. You got careless, and it almost got you both killed." Junho stood slowly, keeping Mina close. "She stays with me." "That's not your decision anymore." Minyu looked at Mina. "Do you understand what you've gotten yourself into? What being with him means?" "I'm starting to." "And you still want this? Want him?" Mina looked at Junho. Bloodied, bruised, dangerous, impossible. She should say no, should walk away from this insanity and never look back. "Yes," she heard herself say. Minyu studied her for a long moment, then nodded. "Then you need to understand the rules. In our world, there are no half measures. You're either in completely or you're out. There's no middle ground." "I understand." "I don't think you do, but you will." He turned to Junho. "Victor will honor the truce for now, but this isn't over. He'll find another way to come at you, at her." "Then what do you suggest?" "Marriage." Both Junho and Mina stared at him. "What?" Mina said. "In our world, wives are sacred, off limits. It's the only way to truly protect her." Minyu looked between them. "Unless this was just a fling, one night that went wrong." "It wasn't," Junho said firmly. "Then make it official. Make her untouchable." "Minyu, we've known each other less than 24 hours. And in that time, you've been shot at, kidnapped, and nearly killed. Multiple times." Minyu's voice was flat. "Time works differently in our world, brother. You know that." Junho looked at Mina. "He's right. It's the only way to keep you safe, but I won't force you. If you want to walk away, I'll make sure you're protected, set up somewhere far from here." "Is this your way of proposing?" Mina interrupted. He blinked. "What?" "Because if it is, it's terrible." Despite everything, Junho laughed. "You're criticizing my proposal technique right now." "Someone has to." She moved closer to him. "For the record, if you're going to ask me to marry you because some mob code says it'll keep me safe, that's not a good enough reason." "What would be a good enough reason?" "That you want me, not just for one night, not just because I sent you a text by accident." She touched his face. "That you see a future with me, even if it's complicated and dangerous and insane." Junho pulled her close. I see it. God help me, I've seen it since the moment you opened your door. He kissed her softly. Marry me, Mina Washington, not because of mob rules or protection, but because in less than a day you've become the most important thing in my world. That's better, she smiled through tears. Ask me again in a month. If we're both still alive and you still feel the same way, I'll say yes. A month. A month. Think you can stay out of trouble that long? With you, absolutely not, he grinned, but I'll try. Minu cleared his throat. Touching, but we need to move. This place is compromised. Where do we go? Mina asked. Somewhere they'll never look, Junho said. He turned to Minu. Atlanta, her family's there. Absolutely not, Mina said. You are not meeting my mother like this. Better now than later, and I need to tell them about David, in person. The humor drained from the moment. David, dead because of her, because of one text. Hey, Junho tilted her chin up. This isn't your fault. Isn't it? No, it's mine, and I'll carry that, but I won't let his death be meaningless. His voice was firm. We're going to end this. Victor, the violence, all of it, but we're doing it smart, together. Mina looked at this man who'd exploded into her life 12 hours ago and changed everything. This dangerous, impossible, somehow perfect man. Together, she agreed. Minu's phone rang. He answered, his expression darkening. When he hung up, he looked at them both. We have a problem. What now? Junho asked. The police, they're downstairs. Detective Martinez survived the attack, barely, and she tracked you here. He looked at Mina. She knows you lied about where you were, and she's coming up with a warrant for your arrest. The elevator dinged. They all turned to stare at it. The doors opened to reveal Detective Martinez, bloodied but standing, her gun drawn. Behind her were 4 uniformed officers. Han Junho, Mina Washington, you're both under arrest. Her eyes were hard. And before you think about running or fighting your way out, I've got 50 officers surrounding this building. There's nowhere to go. Junho squeezed Mina's hand once, then stepped forward, hands raised. Detective, let's talk about this. The time for talking is over. Martinez pulled out handcuffs. Turn around, both of you. Mina's heart pounded. After everything, the danger, the fear, the impossible connection, it was ending like this, with handcuffs and an arrest. But as Martinez approached, Junho caught her eye and winked. He had a plan. Mina just hoped they'd both live long enough to see it through.